Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be wrapping up the month of August. I did not read as many books this month as I did last month. It was a little bit slow for me. I fell into a little bit of a reading slump towards the end of the month. Well, actually probably like 3 weeks of the month, Nelly. I just wasn't feeling like reading fantasies, which was majority of what was on my TBR, especially during Tome Topple. I had a lot of large fantasies on my TBR and I just wasn't really feeling it. So I ended up kind of ditching Tome Topple. I did not do any reading for Roll the Dice Readathon at all either. That one just didn't happen. And I basically read what I felt like towards the end. We're going to talk about the books that I did read this month and what I thought. So first I finished Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This one I listened to on audiobook and I ended up giving it 4 stars. This one was fine, like there was nothing specifically wrong with it, but I didn't quite get the hype and like it was nothing that really blew me away. So I wasn't super impressed with it. I will probably continue the series at some point, but it's not top priority or anything like that. I'm not quite understanding the hype for Brandon Sanderson so far. This was my first Brandon Sanderson book that I have read, and I'm not quite getting it considering how much this particular book series is hyped in the community. I'm not getting it. I'll give the second one a go on audiobook, but yeah. 4 stars. Next we had Fable by Adrian Young, which I do not have my physical copy yet. It shipped a couple days ago actually, and I'm impatiently waiting for it to get here. So Fable is an e-arc that I received through NetGalley and I absolutely loved Fable. It was probably my favorite book this month. It was so freaking good. I have written a full spoiler-free review, so I will link that one down below. But it was amazing. The characters, the plot, the world, the magic system, everything was really cool and really unique, especially the magic system, like the small ability she has. Like it's definitely not like a full-on fantastical ability, but she has like, you know, this smaller kind of low-key ability, and I think it's really unique and cool. So yeah, I loved Fable, and like I said, I will leave my review linked down below. Next, I'll talk about these two together because they're part of the same series. So I read The Watchmaker's Daughter and The Mapmaker's Apprentice by CJ Archer. This is an adult mystery series, and I am enjoying it, but I am feeling like there is getting more and more romance with each book. My mum has actually read to the 4th book. I can't remember what they're called. Actually, is that the 4th book? She might be on the 5th, actually. One of those anyway, but she's gotten further than I have because I stopped reading them to pick up books for Tome Topple. She's thinking the same thing. She's the same as me. She's not a huge fan of romance in books, and she's feeling like it's more 50-50 romance to mystery now, whereas at the start it was more mystery and like it had a hint of romance, which I'm fine with. It's when the romance starts taking over the plot that I get annoyed, and especially with mysteries, because like you start reading a mystery series because you like mysteries, and then suddenly the romance is the main priority and you're like, what the fuck, I want the mysteries. That's kind of how I'm feeling about that one. It's also the same as I felt about Stalking Jack the Ripper in the end, unfortunately. So in the end I gave The Watchmaker's Daughter and The Mapmaker's Apprentice both 4 stars, but I'm still debating on whether I'm going to continue this series or not. The next book I finished is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This one was also really good. I don't know if I've reviewed this yet. I plan to if I haven't. I'm a little bit behind on reviews. When I kind of fell into that little bit of a reading slump, I wasn't really feeling into writing reviews either. So I'm pretty sure I have notes written for this one, but I don't think it's up yet. If it is, I will link it down below. If it's not, it's coming soon. But either way, I really enjoyed this one. I finished this one off in a 24-hour readathon, and I'm super keen to get to the second book, which I have already pre-ordered. I enjoyed this one, and I ended up giving this one a 4.5 stars. So next we have The Bone Thief by Brianna Shields. This was my highly anticipated sequel to The Bone Charmer, which I read last year and loved. And I love this one just as much. This one and one other is kind of tying for second place after Fable. This is just such an interesting world and magic system, and I love the characters, and it's so action-packed and it's unpredictable and there is always something going on. So I absolutely love this series. I gave this one 5 stars. Again, I don't think I've posted my review. If I have, I'll link it down below. If I haven't, it will be coming soon. I know I've written notes, and that's why it's getting confusing in my head, because I know I wrote the notes out, but I don't know if I actually formatted the review. So we'll see. But either way, I love this book. 5 stars. Highly recommend checking out this duology. Next, I read a graphic novel called Ever After by Olivia Vuitch. This one was translated, and I'm not sure if that added to my confusion for this book. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I will be posting a review within the coming weeks. This one, actually I think this one released 1st of September, and I did read it like start of the month. I just haven't got around to reviewing it yet because I just don't really know. Like, I finished it because it's a graphic novel. It's like 100 and something pages, but I was confused the whole time. And I'm not really sure what the point was. It was kind of all over the place. So yeah, I don't know if that was like a miscommunication with the translated edition because this was in a previous language and it was translated to English, but I didn't get it. I was confused. The art was okay, which was the reason I gave it 2 stars is because of the artwork. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this one, which is why I just gave it 2 stars. It definitely didn't impress me, and I probably wouldn't recommend it because I'm not even sure what happened. Next we have King of Ashes by Raymond E. Feist. I was not overly impressed with this book. I rated it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the world and the plot was interesting. It was a little bit slow, but it is adult fantasy, which tends to read a bit slower than YA is. I feel like YA is a little bit more action-packed and fast-paced because it's trying to be engaging for a younger audience, whereas adult is a little bit slower. And I wasn't really mad about it being a bit slow. It was a little slow, but I'm not super mad about that. My main critique with this book is the constant discussion of sexual things. Not just sex, but like sexual things. To be quite frank, which I'm pretty sure I have said this in I think it was a reading vlog I discussed this book. To be quite frank, you can tell this is a male author. There is a lot of books you have, like, you can't tell by the writing whether it's a male or female author. This one you can tell by the vulgarity of the wording when it comes to talking about bodily organs and also just sex and that type of thing in general. I'm someone who does not like the word cock. Like, no. I'm a truckie's daughter. I swear more than most people I know, but that word just grosses me out, especially when you're talking about it in like an endearing type, like sexy sexual way. No, not the right word. But anyways, besides that, yeah, the whole wording for a fair few things in this book, I'm not sure what I'm doing with my hands, but the whole wording with a fair few things in this book I was just not a fan of. It wasn't necessary to the plot, like, at all. And also half the time I was like, who actually fucking speaks like that? Like, I've got some pretty vulgar friends, we discuss some weird shit, but who the fuck actually speaks like this? Like, I don't know. I didn't particularly like the writing, but yes, I do like the plot. I will probably continue the second book on audiobook, but I'm not super impressed. Next we have King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This one is super shiny. I apologize for that. So this one I listened to on audiobook as well, and I haven't actually decided whether I'm going to rate this 4.5 or 5. I'm leaning towards 4.5 because in my head I feel like I loved this, but I can't necessarily say that it's better than Crooked Kingdoms or Six of Crows Crooked Kingdoms, and I rated them 4.5 stars. So I think it's on the same vein. I am really curious because this ended on a massive cliffhanger, so I'm curious to see where this is going to go. And I love the world, I like the characters, definitely a lot better than Shadow and Bone. Definitely a lot better than Shadow and Bone. But yes, so I'm thinking 4.5 stars for this one. I have not reviewed this one. I don't know if I will. I didn't review Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdoms either, so, you know, not a big deal. I think I did originally review the Grisha trilogy, I think. Or maybe the first book. I don't know if I did all of them. I have no idea. But either way, I really enjoyed this, and I do like the audiobook. It is really well done. Next we have Loveless by Alice Oseman. So this is when I kind of fell into my fantasy reading slump and I went and grabbed a like cute fluffy kind of contemporary. Not really cute and fluffy, but I grabbed a contemporary anyways because I thought that would help me, and it did. I really, really enjoyed this one, which I expected to anyway because I've really enjoyed all the books by Alice Oseman I have read, except for Solitaire wasn't my favorite. It's probably my least favorite from Alice Oseman, but I did enjoy the story anyway. It just was my favorite out of all of them. But this one was really good. This deals with a heap of representation, the main one being aromatic and asexual representation, which is something I believe I haven't actually read about specifically before. Like, there's been mention of like an asexual character, but never actually following an asexual / aromatic character and seeing the struggles when it comes to being those sexualities. And I do really love the amount of representation we have in this book. It's always really good in Alice Oseman's books. There's always tons of representation, but I think this one's probably topping it. I have a list, so I'll just tell you. There is a Latinx lesbian character, there is an asexual / aromantic character, there is a gay asexual Indian character, there is a bisexual or pansexual character. She has not taken a label yet, but it is on the vein of liking more than just one sex. And then there is a bisexual aromantic character. So yes, tons of representation, especially with the asexual, aromantic, like those sides. Obviously bisexual, lesbian, gay is a lot more common now, especially in contemporary, but the asexual, aromantic still hasn't become commonplace. So it was really good to read about those in this book, and I highly recommend basically anything by Alice Oseman, but I definitely recommend Loveless. It was really good, really quick, really fun, and yeah, just a super good read and awesome representation. Next we have The Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse. This one, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to rate this one. I have written down in my bullet journal 3.5 stars, but I'm not 100% sure purely because I don't know whether I didn't enjoy this because I was in a bit of a reading slump and I was kind of having to force myself to read it. Mainly because I was in a reading slump, not necessarily because of the content of the book. It made my experience of reading it a little bit less than it probably would have been. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to rate this one just yet, but I was in a reading slump when I was reading this and it just wasn't really doing it. This is a super interesting concept. I really enjoyed the characters. The plot was interesting. It was a little bit slow at sometimes, but for the most part it was fast paced, which I enjoyed. And it was written very well, but like I said, reading slump, it just kind of killed it a little bit. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go for 3.5 or 4, but somewhere around there. Unfortunately, I was just in a reading slump when I read this and that affected it, unfortunately. So the last book that I read was actually a graphic novel, and that was The Tea Dragon Society. So I actually received the 3rd volume in this series for review from NetGalley, which is the Tea Dragon Festival's the second one. What's the third one? The Tea Dragon Tapestry. That's the third one. So yes, I received that one from NetGalley. So I read volume 1 this month. I'm going to try and read volume 2 and 3 next month. But this was really cute. I really enjoyed this. I gave this one 5 stars. I have reviewed this one, so I will leave it linked down below. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's super cute, really short. Obviously, it's a graphic novel, but it's also a shorter graphic novel. It's only 72 pages, whereas most graphic novels tend to be around the 115 mark. They tend to be. But yeah, this was super cute. Really interesting world. Really interesting, like the magic system when it comes to the tea dragons and stuff. And I like that at the end of the book, there was like a glossary type thing, I guess you could call it, of the different types of tea dragons, which was super cute. So yeah, I'm super keen to continue on to the second book and onto the third. But yeah, highly recommend checking out the Tea Dragon Society. It is super cute. Also, I forgot to mention in my video, but I just thought I'd come in, that I also loved the representation in the Tea Dragon Society. There is a character who is in a wheelchair, there is a character with amnesia, there is a woman of color, and there is also a male-male romance, all featured in this tiny little book, and all of them were really cool. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that there was a heap of representation in this book as well. So that's all the books that I have read in the month of August. I will just quickly talk about the books I'm currently reading going into September. So first off, we have The Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton. This one I actually grabbed from the library. There is a little library sticker on the corner there. And I was super curious. I keep seeing this one around, and I read the synopsis while I was staying in the library, and I'm like, that sounds really interesting. So I grabbed it and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm currently 164 pages in, so making decent progress, and yes, I'm really enjoying it. Also, this cover has like red sprayed edges, and this is the one at the library. I'm assuming all the hardcovers have red sprayed edges. I have no idea, but it has red sprayed edges. So I think that's what also drew me to it. But either way, we're just starting to get into the nitty-gritty stuff of the actual plot, so I'm super keen to keep reading this, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Next, I'm currently listening to The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell. I'm not sure where exactly I'm up to. I'm not quite at 50% through this one. I am listening to this one on audiobook, and I am enjoying it, but I'm just not really in the mood for it right now. I've been debating whether to DNF it for the moment. Like, I'm gonna read it. I'm super keen to read it. I really enjoyed the first book in the series, but at the moment I'm just not feeling it. And I think that comes down to that bit of a reading slump I've been in towards the end of August. And yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this one just yet. I'm probably gonna read some of it or listen to some of it tomorrow and see how I feel after that. And if I'm still not feeling it, then I'm just going to put it down, because I'm not going to do to this one what I did to The Girl in the Blue Coat by continuing reading and then not ending up enjoying it. We'll see. You'll probably see in a future reading vlog what I did with this one, but yes, I'm enjoying it. It's just, I'm not feeling it. And then I'm also still currently reading Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I think I've mentioned this in previous wrap-ups, or TBRs or whatever, but I am currently reading this one with my partner. We are listening to the audiobook while flipping around along with the physical book. We only listen to, 30 or so pages, like half an hour usually we listen to every now and then when he feels like it, because he is not a reader and I obviously look at all the books behind me. He's not a reader, he's more into gaming. So yes, we're slowly making our way through this one. Hopefully we'll get some more done soon, but at the moment we're on page 160, so not too much progress. But yes, I'm going to take any excuse to do another reread of Illuminae because I love it. And if it turns out that he's not feeling it and ends up not continuing, I'm just going to listen to it myself. That's fine. So those are all the books that I read in the month of August and also currently reading. Hopefully September will be a little bit better for me. I am going into the Bookopoly Readathon, which is the readathon I host. Link down below to the announcement, but hopefully I will get a chance to read some good books and kind of break out of this reading slump, I'm hoping. I've also been super busy because we've been painting my dad's lounge room, and it is a big task because I'm doing it by myself and it is a big room. So that's been taking up a lot of time, and especially because a lot of the time mum's up here helping or just, chatting while I'm painting. So I can't listen to an audiobook while that's happening. So mum's at work tomorrow and we've got to get some more painting done, so hopefully I'll be able to get some audiobooks listened to and kind of get out of this slump. Wish me luck for that one. Let me know what your favorite book you read in August was. Like I said, mine was definitely Fable by Adrienne Young. It was just so freaking good and I can't wait to get my copy because that cover is stunning. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys enjoyed in August and I will see you in my next video.